everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's topic, I want to talk about 3 types of people who should not move to Belgrade, Serbia. I love Serbia, I love Serbian people, I love living in this city. I fall in love with the culture, the language, the way of life here, and I do live a beautiful expat life. Not that I'm trying to gatekeep Serbia, but with a decade of experience living abroad as an expat in Southeast Asia, Eurasia, in different parts of Europe, it's just, I just feel like there are certain types of people that really shouldn't move here, and I want to talk about it. This might be a bit controversial, especially my bonus point, specifically passport bros. This is a really beautiful country, and as an American, I know we have superiority complex when we go to different countries to move in. So I want to talk about that. So let's get started. The first type of person I believe that is not a good fit for Serbia is a person that has racist or type of prejudice attitudes. They come from a society like the US or Canada, Australia, the UK, France, or any former colonial power where there was a long, deep history of institutional racism, prejudice, oppressing classes of people. And while I am American, I would have to say this. Not all Americans are the same. People are not their government. But if you want to live here in Serbia, where there is no history of racism, where there is no anti-Blackness, and if you come here and think, okay, because I'm a white American or white British, I'm going to be at the top of the racial hierarchy of the society, please don't come. Because this is an equal society. There is no racism, past or present, and that type of attitude or that superiority complex is just not going to work with people here. And I've had some cases where I have met other Americans or Brits where they have that kind of, when they see me, a Black American woman living her best life. And I know Serbs, before people come for me in the comments, it's just race is not important here, but in those societies, it is very important when it comes to class, when it comes to opportunities, when it comes to certain types of people being in power. When some Americans that have those racial attitudes come and see people like me, they ask or interrogate me as in like, why am I here? How am I here? Do I belong here? Just like little subtle questions and a lot of microaggressions. And that's just not good for Serbia at all. So if you have, maybe you don't know you have that type of attitude, or maybe you do have that attitude and you think, okay, I'm going to be in Europe and everyone's white, so I can do what I want and people are going to have that same type of worldview as me. Please don't come. These are kind, good people here. Whiteness in Serbia or the Balkans is not the same as whiteness in the US or Canada, Australia, or France, where there is a lot of racism, outward racism, subtle racism. The whole racial hierarchy is just not going to be something that's going to work here. And people will call you out for that, especially me. I'm now in my era of just matching energy, and I just will not tolerate it because this is a beautiful society. There's a lot. This society is not perfect. Serbia is not perfect, but we don't want racists here or prejudice. So please don't come. The second type of person that should not come is a person that whole identity is tied to their work. That yes, you're a successful CEO, yes, you're a successful business owner, and you have no personality or identity outside of your work. Now, people do work hard here. I know many people that work all the time, but that's not who they are as a person. And this is specifically for Americans because we are known to tying our identity and our health insurance to our jobs. So you're gonna find a hard time living in a place where people have a life outside of work. Their identity is not tied to their profession or to how much money they make. I met people from the 0.01%, I'm talking about billionaires, to everyday people, and people are not tying their whole identity and who they are to their work, how much money they have. People are really humble. And life here, people enjoy long lunches, long dinners, going to the cafes, going on holiday. Like, people rarely talk about work unless you're in a business meeting and you're pitching to clients or you're at work. But outside of the office, outside of work, people have a life here. So if you're an American and yes, your company moved you here and you're just only going to talk about work, it's going to be hard for you and you might have like an identity crisis. So it's best maybe just to come on holiday from work, but don't come here thinking you have a job here and that's all you talk about, because nobody cares. The third type of person that shouldn't move here is people who refuse to adapt because they think, oh, I'm a Canadian, I'm American, I'm British, I speak English, so people should speak English. In my country, this is how things are, so here, this is how things should be. And please just don't. I know, especially as an expat, we have this privilege and this complex, like we're gonna come and we're gonna maybe buy a bunch of property, we're gonna live in our little gated communities or bubbles, and to hell with everyone else. Don't come here with that attitude. People will be quick to put you in your place, call you out, because people are very unapologetic about sharing their thoughts and opinions. And I know in other expat hubs I've lived in, that was just acceptable because it was really difficult, for example, when I lived in Thailand, to learn Thai. It was really difficult exam when I was in Kazakhstan to learn Russian, but I tried. So make an effort to learn the language, make an effort to socialize. Here, at least in Serbian society, there's not such a strong class stratification. People do mix and mingle with different people of different incomes. People treat the staff with respect. So if you are only comfortable being around people just like yourself, speaking English all the time and not integrating, you're gonna have a really hard time. And you might feel very lonely here because you just refuse to adapt. Bonus, passport bros. Now, I believe if you are not happy in your home country because you can't live your best life, move. I'm not against that. I've done that. I left the US 11 years ago because I wanted something better for myself. And it took a long time to change my mindset and also make the effort to integrate. No society is perfect. However, there is like a growing movement, especially on YouTube, of men who call themselves passport bros, which honestly is nothing new. For centuries, men have been leaving their home countries to work and they marry a local woman and they live a beautiful life. Like, I think passport bros are now a segment of men that just discovered you can go to different countries where your American dollar or euro or pound goes long and you can live like a king. I've seen this a lot when I was in Bangkok. I lived there for 3 years. Here in Serbia, it's different. Serbia, yes, it is not as cheap as it is before, like 5 or 10 years ago. Things are getting more expensive. But with passport bros, my problem is just this whole attitude of superiority where you think, okay, American women are bad or Western women are bad, and you want to have a woman that is very feminine, that is not Americanized, and basically is not career-oriented, that treats you as the man. And let me just tell you, at least here, the Balkans, or in Eastern Europe, yes, women are very feminine. There are clear gender roles. However, are educated, they're very well read. Yes, there are clear gender roles, but your attitude, or I think deep insecurities of not being a winner in the US or being a high value man in the US is just not gonna go well here. Because the expectations, especially with relationships and marriage and I guess taking care of a family, you need to not only have a lot of money or earn a good living, but you have to have a good work ethic, you have to have good character, and people are not gonna be impressed, or the, I guess, type of woman you're looking for are not gonna be impressed if you make under $50,000 a year. That is a lot here, but that's just not gonna be enough. And we just don't need that here because Serbian women, yes, they're beautiful, they're kind, they're feminine. I have some really beautiful friends, but they're also really educated, very well read, and women here are happy if they want to be single, living their best life. They're not gonna think a man defines them. So please, passport bros, just don't come to Serbia. Don't come. Don't come. You will be embarrassed and no one would want to date you. There you have it. The 3 types of people plus passport bros who shouldn't come to Serbia. This is a beautiful nation, great people. There's a lot of great things happening and you just would not fit here. I feel like I'm in a position to tell people, please don't come, ruin it. Because I've seen in other expat hubs where there's a whole group of foreigners, specifically at least Americans, that come and either gentrify a place, they don't want to integrate, they have the superiority complex, and the locals get really angry because you're a guest in their country. Like, how dare you come here and think you're better than us? And I understand when it comes to housing prices, we saw a lot of that in 2022 when there was a huge influx of Russians, but at least they started businesses. And the Russians and Serbs, there's a lot of similarities in terms of religion, culture, and politically, like, good allies. But when Americans and Brits come to countries in large numbers, some people really should just stay home. Serbs and Serbians of the diaspora, who do you think should not come to Serbia to live long term? If you want to be a tourist, come. Fine, be a tourist, be respectful still. But if you want to live here long term, you want to be able to contribute to the society, you just might not fit here. And that's okay. There are over 100 different other countries that you can go and live abroad. Just please don't come to Serbia. Or just don't come to Belgrade. All right, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And if you are interested in moving to Belgrade and you're not any of the 4 people I have mentioned, I do provide relocation services. If you want to scout Serbia before you make the permanent move, I have a package for those that want to scout. If you want to come here for a day or for a weekend, just to shop, to party, for business, I do have a service called Experience Belgrade with Blair in Belgrade. So I look forward to your comments, to your emails, and let's have a discussion. Who should not come to Serbia long term? All right, thank you. Ciao, ciao.